Hello, welcome and welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Brittany, and today's video is my March wrap up. Oh, what a month. Surprisingly, I did really well in the month of March. My goal was to read 10 books. I ended up reading 14, and I'm gonna crack a lack in here because there's a lot to cover. And I'm gonna start. Let's start with the last book I read and then work our way backwards a little bit. So, starting with The Buccaneers by Edith Wharton. I rated this book a 3 star. I kind of forgot what I gave it as. This book, I feel like I've been talking about this book in the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of my videos. I started reading it back in January of this year. And clearly you can tell I put a big hold on it because I started back in January 21st and I ended it March 30th, which was Sunday. So I recently just finally finished this book. Um, I mean, it was okay. It was very slow. There was a lot of, I feel like there was more people talking than anything than like being romance. I don't know if this book is even considered a romance. I gotta double check, but um, yeah, I gave it a 3 star. I'm gonna now watch the show, since that was the whole purpose of me reading it in the first place. So yeah, nothing. Oh, I should say. Let me rephrase that. Um, it's Edith Wharton who started writing the book, but I think she died halfway through, and then Marion Mainwarney Waring picked it up afterwards. And I think after she, from my understanding, Marion died after she finished it. I think that's how that story goes. Um, so yeah, so it's by essentially two different authors. But yeah, I rated it a 3 star. Now I can watch the show so I can be ready for season two. I feel like I like the show more than the book. Unfortunately, I wish I can say, oh, the book was better than the show, but I feel like I'm gonna like the show way better than the book. But I finally finished it. It took me forever. My next book I'm gonna move on is Miss Freedom McFadden with Ward D. A coworker of mine uh, let me borrow her book and read it because she liked it. And I rated this book a 3.5 star. Um, Now, with that being said, just because I rated it a 3.5 star does not mean that I like hated it or I mean it was fine. I feel like the twist towards the end and then the surprise ending part. I wouldn't say it was a surprise, but it was kind of a confirmation ending, I guess, if per se, that if you want to call it that way. I mean, it was fine. I felt like this one wasn't my favorite. I mean, I was entertained by it for sure, but it wasn't my favorite. I didn't care for it. And there's another book I've read from Frida that I'll get to later on in the video, and I have. Oh, and I rated it higher. We'll get to that part in a minute or two. So yeah, with Ward D with Freedom McFadden, I I said I didn't really care for it. I don't know if it's because it's her. I believe this is one of her earlier books that she wrote, and it wasn't hitting it as I read her previous books. So it was all right. Um, that's all I can say about it. No disrespect. I'm just saying that respectfully. It was okay. Um, but the next book, and I think this is my, so far, I say this is like my top favorite book of 2025 so far. And I'm at the point where I want to re-listen to it, and I definitely want to get the physical copy for is Miss Allie Hazelwood, A Deep End. I know a lot of people, a lot of I don't know if I consider myself Allie Hazelwood fan. I mean, I respect her books for sure, but I don't know if I'm considered a fan quite yet. But Deep End, listening to it through audio, and I was listening to it at work on breaks and lunch, definitely had me clutching my pearls. I definitely, if I can rate this book a 6 star, 7 star, 8, 9, 10 stars, I would. But unfortunately, Fable, Goodreads, and Storygraph only lets me rate it a 5 star. Um, and I would say that this book and Not in Love are like my two favorite books so far. And those are the two books that a lot of fans do not like from her. I like this. I like Deep End for sure. I mean, I was deep in. Okay, that was stupid. But anyways, um I don't want to I would recommend to listen to it. Um I would say do not listen to the audio in your car. Don't share AirPods, don't because some of the scenes um top notch. Miss Hazelwood, I see you, girl. I see you. But anyways, I'm gonna move on because I can talk about this book all day long. And in sad part, I have no one to talk about it to. But anyways, yeah, I gave Deep In a 5 star. Like I said, if I can rate it more or higher, I definitely would in a heartbeat. And I think I am thinking about listening to it again for sure. On the next, moving along, I read Wish You Were Here" by Jodi Picoult, and I rate this book a 4 star. Right? Yeah, a 4 star. This is my first official book that I've read from Miss Jodi. I think I've talked about it before. Have I? I don't know, but I've read or I haven't read. I watched my sister's Keeper movie years ago when it first came out, and I didn't know that it was a book until like years later. And I still want to read that book. But I don't know how I came across. I think I was at the library and just came across this book, so it wasn't like recommended to me. I just saw that it was available and I got it and I listened to it. I know this is, from my understanding, all her books are, I wouldn't say controversial, but they do tackle real life issues. And I know with this particular book, a lot of people just did not like it because of the gravity of um, this. Sorry, I had like a flying cat hair in my face. The gravity of the book when it came out originally. So, if you want to read this book, I would say it does talk about COVID and and there's some political, I wouldn't say not the whole book is political. It does touch base on it just a little bit, just to kind of set the scene a little bit. I know people in the comments when I was reading or in the reviews that they were upset that it was political and all that. And so I do have a different perspective because I'm reading it years later after the fact of COVID. But I would say check your trigger warnings and check your contact warnings for this book. I did enjoy it. I was not expecting the twist at the end or twist in the middle, but I did like it. So I do want to read plenty of books of her. Why is my cat scratching the door? Anyways, I was going to say something. Oh, did I say I rate this book a 4 star? I would have rated it higher, but the main character kind of bothered me in like the first three and a half, 4 chapters. So I had to knock it down for that. That's me, not Jody. That was just how and I listened to it. That's also I want to mention. The next book I've read was The Club. Hold on. I had to scratch my eyebrow as I moved the mic away from my face. The next book I read was The Club by Ellery Leroy. No, not Leroy. Lloyd. There we go. Um, I I rated this book a 3.5 star. Um, I listened to this on audio, and it was all right. I feel like there was a lot of points of views that kind of got lost in the sauce for me, where it got to the twist at the end. I just like, oh, okay, kind of situation. Um, I mean, it was okay, but yeah, I felt like the twist. Would you call it a twist? It not really. I guess you can call it a twist. Kind of fell flat for me because by the time we figured out who it was, I was like, oh, okay. Because I feel like there was like the brothers and the dad, and then this person and the lover and the wife, and blah 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 blah, and then all of a sudden the twist happened. You're like, okay, that happened, I guess, but it was all right. Um, Once again, moving on to Go Home Ricky by Gene Kwok. I feel like I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. But I rated this book a 4.5 star. Did I? I read it. I read the first 8 chapters and then I changed it to audio. Um, and this one's about wrestling. And this one was kind of, oh, I know why she's meowing because it's her dinner time. She'll have to wait. Um, it's it's sad, but it's also funny and also slightly confusing because there was some things that were happening where I'm like, what is going on? But I did enjoy it after all. But I gave that a 4.5 star. Next book, sorry, this is a lot. I didn't realize I read this much. Is The Magic Mishap Stuck with Him by Nicole Topso. Topso. I rated this book a 2 star. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and maybe that was my fault because I misunderstood what the book was about. Um, I thought it was going to be like a romance with a witch and a vampire, and it wasn't. It was a short read too, and I don't think there's a sequel or anything. It was kind of like, yep, that's it kind of situation. So I was disappointed in that. Um, I don't know who, and a few people talked about this book, and I don't think they've read it because never mind. That's a whole nother conversation. Let me move on to the next book. The next book is The Business Trip by Jessica. Oh no, excuse me, by Jesse Garcia. And I rated a 3 star for this book. And this was another thriller. Like the premise of it sounded pretty cool. And then once again, when it got to towards the end, um, I mean, I was hooked for a bit, and then something went weird, and I was just like, that was a choice. And I don't know, but I it was all right. Um the ending, I wish the ending was better. Cuz there was no, like, there was a consequence, but it didn't really impact, if that makes sense. Um yeah. But there's another book she wrote, I believe, that I'm curious about, that I may read, but I don't know. We'll see. But the next book, oops, business trip. Here we go. The next book I've read is The Killers of the Flower Moon by David Gran. This is considered a nonfiction crime thriller book. I have the physical copy, but I ended up listening to it on audio as well. I think most of these books I've read on audio. And I wanted to read the book before I watched the Martin Scorsese. Did he direct it? I think he directed it. Um, because I wanted to watch the movie, but I really wanted to know what the book was actually about, because I heard the movie kind of favors a certain group that is the issue, and I wanted to know what actually happened. So it talks about the family and the murders, and what else, and the what's it called, the oh my gosh, and this is what I do for a living. um I can't think of the word. Not courthouse, but the court trials. There we go. Of what happened with the murders in the family. So that's what it was pretty interesting. So I rated that a 5 star because I feel like, even though I feel like I shouldn't rate it because it's not my story to rate it on, but it was very good and impactful. Is that the word I want to use? That doesn't sound right, but oops. Nope, that's not what I want. There we go. But the next book I read, I didn't listen to this one. It's called Elevator Pitch by Evelyn Lay. I rate this book a 5 star. This also was a good book. Not as good as Deep End, but there was some scenes where I was like, I see you, girl. I see you, Evelyn, with your scenes. I think there's a part, or there's a sequel with one of the characters' friends, the main female character's best friend. I think that was the second book's about. But I rated that a 5 star. If I could, I would rate it a 6 star because that was a really good book. Because I hadn't read any. No, that's not true. I'm reading it from last to newest. But anyways, um, my next book is Oathbound, which is the third book in the Legendborn series. I rated this a 5 star. I think I mentioned in my reaction Legendborn book that I was trying to read the Legendborn series, or read Legendborn so I can read Bloodmark and Oathbound, and I'm all caught up. I think I read all 3 books within like a week and a half, because I ended up reading Bloodmark, which I'll talk about in a second here. Well, not a second, it'd be longer than that, but it is coming up next. I read I read Bloodmark. I listened to it on audio, and then I listened to Oathbound. And Oathbound, uh I'm not gonna spoil it because it's still new. People are just now reading it. But I would say the ending literally shook me to my core. I still think about it from like in my dreams. Like I'll have dreams about it and be like, did I really like, anyways. So I gave Oathbound a 5 star. My next book is Perfectly Candid by J.S. Jasper, and I rated that book a 3 star, and that's also a romance. It was cute. I don't remember what it was about because I read Bloodmark, then this, and then Oathbound in between. So I was still on Blood Bloodmark brain, and then I read that and then read Oathbound. So apparently I rated it a 3 star. Bloodmark I rated a 5 star, of course. I think I even rated Legendborn. Yeah, I rated Legendborn a 5 star. So 5 stars around. Um, Bloodmark is the second book, so it's Legendborn, Bloodmark, and an Oathbound. This is a lot. I'm already tired, but I rated that. I ended up listening to that in audio, and I think between all 3 books, I think I like Oathbound more. But I feel like it's hard to judge them that way because they all have their different niche to it. But Bloodmark did broke me too. If you thought Oathbound broke me, Bloodmark did too. Don't get it twisted. And then lastly, oh man, we're almost done, guys, I promise. The last book of my March wrap up here is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I rated this book a 4.5 star. This one, um, once again, it wasn't, if I have to, it wasn't my favorite, but it was entertaining enough. The twist, I, how do I want to say this? Like, I knew the twist in a way, but I had it flipped, if that makes sense. But then in a way, I was still kind of right. But I like this one more than War D for sure, clearly because of my rating. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I'm going to move you guys into a different spot in a hot second because I need to also pick my April TBR. So I'll be right back. TBD. Let me move you guys in a second. Alrighty, I am back. I am moved up close. I fed my cat in the process. So she's fed. So now we're going to do my April TBR. So I've already read and finished Heavily Tyrant. And so I'm going to pick my D20 here and roll. Let's roll for 2 books for right now, and then we'll, you know, wing the rest later. So, all right, number one. It's the oh wait, have I wait. Okay, I can read that because I was like, wait, did I read? So yeah, so it's gonna be The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. So that will be this book here. Hold on. That was smart. It would be this book here. I probably I don't know if I'm going to read my copy or listen to it. We'll figure it out. But we'll read this and then we'll just pick another book. That's an 8. We're going to read King of the Wilds by Nicholas Ames. So, no, nope, I already said it and I rolled for it. So that's, I don't know where that book's at. I think it's in my closet. So those are the 2 books I will read for April. Actually, let's do one more. I lied. Let's do it on my thing here. A 5. Wait, hold on. The Client by John Grisham. Oh, it's up here. Hold on. Let me get it. Oh, there's a spider web. There we go. John Grisham. Clearly, I still have the sticker on. So that is the books I'm going to read. Oh, I didn't mention my reading goal for April. So my reading goal for April is 9 books. So we'll taking off the sticker. Oops, that was scary. Oh, the sticky residue is still on there. Whatever. So those are the books I'm going to read. I think what I'm going to do though for the King of Wilds, is it the King of Wilds or the Kings of Wild? I think I might have typed that wrong. I think I'm going to listen to it because I did technically I did not finish that book like 2 years ago and I just couldn't get into it because I was reading other books. So I think I'm going to listen to that for sure so it can make me be focused on it, if that makes sense. So, um and technically the Alloy, I think I've read, yeah, cuz I think that's the 4th book. I have to double check cuz I didn't think about it when I made this list that I'll be reading even though my goal is to finish series that I've started, I just want to make sure this is actually, and I know it's a spin-off book. Oh, here we go. Um, is it technically, I want to say this is technically book 4. Yes, it is. It's book 4. All right. So those are the books I'm going to read. Those are the books I've read. Uh, Happy Tuesday. It's April Fool's Day. Um, Luckily enough, no one pranked me. Um, I had somebody who was really confused of the idea of April Fools, and they didn't realize, or they didn't, I don't know if they didn't realize or just didn't know that April Fools always land on April 1st, and they were truly intrigued by it. So I felt like I was being pranked. So maybe that was my April Fool's prank of the day. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up so I can go to bed. I see you in the next video. Support your local libraries, your indie bookstores, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.